This video is going to cover the steps for the logo design. So inside your folder, please create a folder that has your name and says Logo Project 5 after your name. Inside there, you're going to have the scan that I do on the iPad of the drawing that you've created. Remember, you must have a word mark for your company, a brand mark, the letter mark, and then the logo lockup. After I've scanned it and put it into your Project 5 folder, what you are then going to do is you're going to right-click on it, open with Photoshop. Now, once you've opened it up here, what we're going to do is create on top of this or a recreation of it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing just to show you another example here. Here's another one, Project 5. So here's Yomi's version. Same thing, open up with Photoshop. Once you open it up, if it does come up like this, by the way, you can go to Image Rotation, 90 degrees counterclockwise or clockwise, depending on your image. And then I'm just going to kind of zoom in so you can see it larger. All right, so here's the first step. I'm going to zoom into the word mark first. So first with the word mark, you can use the, as you know, the text tool. You've used it before many, many times in the last project. Click on the text tool. You could do the whole word at a time or letter by letter. So for example here, I click to type, go up to the top, choose the font style that I like. Maybe I choose something that's very similar to what this might look like. Then I'm going to choose a size. I'll choose 72 to start. And I can choose a color. I'll keep it that. And I'm going to hit OK. But I didn't type anything, right? So if you do that by accident also, you can go over to here. You can double click. You'll see that blinking cursor again, and you start to type. So again, I can do one letter at a time. And just like your project, you can highlight it. You can increase the size at the top to make it larger. You can change the font if you don't like that font and you want to pick a different one. By all means, you could pick a different font for it. Okay. Once you've done that, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. You can treat it just like your last project. You can go to the layer. You can right-click. You can rasterize. And then after that, you can do Command-T. And now you're seeing you can do that Command-T. You can stretch it. You can pull it. Make it any which way that you'd like. Okay, that looks good. And then you can hit the checkbox to OK it. I could have done the whole word. This time I just did the one letter at a time. I can then double-click the layer. And if you double-click the layer right here, you're going to get the Layer Styles box that opens up. At that point, you can do any of these styles. You can try stroke. You can make the stroke larger or smaller. You can change its color. You can have all these different options. You click on the word, and then you have options on the right-hand side. So you can kind of play with that. We can do drop shadow, outer glow, change the settings, change the movements. You can see behind it now there's a shadow. Depending on which one you pick and how you do it, you're going to get all different kinds of looks to it until you come up with the one that you like. Okay, so that's what you can do for the word. That's the first one. That's the word mark, right? So I could have done, like I said, could have done the whole thing and then done the same exact thing, to that one. Get the idea? Next, we're going to go over to the brand mark. Now with the brand mark, you have two options. Option number one, you can create a brand new layer at the bottom of your layers panel here. Go to your brush tool. Just like your first project of the year, go to your brush tool. Choose your color. Maybe I'll choose black. Choose your brush. Just like our first project of the year. Choose whatever size brush you'd like. Maybe a 3 or 4 or whatever you'd like. Check, make sure the opacity is 100, the flow is 100, normal for the mode, and you would start to draw. So for example here, he's got like a skillet with some eggs. So you could do this. And draw that piece. Remember, you're on this new top layer that you just made. So you draw all of the different parts that you want. Very much like you did the outlines for that first project when you were doing the face. Zoom in as much as you can to get as much detail as you can. Okay, connect your lines to make it easier for you to color. So you zoom in if you have to, real tight like this. Oops, sorry. Mistake. Back to the brush. So you can connect it like that, maybe even up here, like I missed this little spot, connect that. Okay, so you draw the whole thing, and then when you're ready to color, very simply, you go over to your paint bucket, choose your color, whatever you want your color to be. In this case, maybe I'll do like white here or something. And you click. Sometimes if you double click, you get a little bit, it fills in the gaps a little bit. And then you can choose whatever color you want for the another piece, and so on and so on and so on. and you can fill it up like that. So you could totally do it like that. That's not a problem. There is one other way to do it, and I'm going to show you that now. And that is, so I'm going to get rid of that, well, I'll hide that first layer for now. I'll show you the other way. So the other way is this. If you go over to your toolbar here, you will see a rectangle tool, rounded rectangle, ellipse, polygon, line, and custom shape. If I go to the rectangle, for example, and I go up to the top, and I click on the word shape, make sure it says shape at the top. You can click a fill color for this, and you can click a stroke color. And this is the size and weight of the stroke and the kind of stroke. I'm going to leave all these settings like this. I'm just going to show you what it does. If I click and I drag, it creates a rectangle. If I would have held down shift, it would have made it perfectly square. Okay? Now, what does this do? If you take this white arrow that's right next to it, you could double click any of these points, and then you can individually move that one point. And the fill stays with it, and the stroke stays with you no matter where you go. There is a tool above it, if you right click, called the pen tool. And if you go to the convert point tool, you can take this, any of these points, click and pull on them, and you get a curve. If you click right back on it again, it goes back and snaps back to a corner. So this allows you to kind of stretch and pull and get curves out of things. What's nice about the curve too is this white arrow below it, the direct selection tool that you used before. You can click on any point, you can click on any line, you can click on any handlebar. These are called Bezier curves and allow you to kind of twist it and turn it in any shape that you would like. So really you start with the basic shape, but you can change it. All right, I'm going to get rid of this one. Down below, there's other shapes, and there are custom shapes here at the bottom. If you go to custom shapes, you'll see at the very top of your screen, there are a list of shapes right here. So you can go to any of these and click on them. So for example, if I wanted a star, right? I'm sure I can find something that looks like a star. So I click on this. And then all I have to do is click and drag. Again, I can hold shift if I want. And now I have a nice star. You'll also notice that when you use this tool, it automatically makes a brand new layer for you. You don't have to make the layer first. You can still do Command T to it. You know, you can still do free transform, and you can rotate it or make it bigger or stretch it or right click and warp it, and you can do all kinds of stuff to it, just like what you did in the last project. If you want, I'm going to get rid of it also. If you want though to create your own shape, you can use the Freeform pen tool. Freeform pen tool, you can just click. I have the same settings: shape, color, stroke, everything the same. I can draw any shape that I want, and when I go back to where I started, it's going to close up that shape. So for this project, for Yomi's here, what I could do is I could go up, I can go down to the custom shape tool, go over to those shapes that we just talked about, like the star, grab the star, go over to here, hold shift, make a star. See that? And then I could do Command T, maybe just squish it a little bit, rotate a little bit, move it up, and that looks good. For this line right here, I could use maybe the rectangle tool, make a nice thin line, right? Do Command T, rotate it, move it, and now I have all these nice pieces that I've created using the tool. Plus, from far away, you see how smooth they begin to look. There are the ellipse tools like this, so you can hold shift and create a perfect circle. I could click away, grab a different color. Sometimes if it continues to fill it as you go, you can just click like a different layer, almost like home base, to get away from it before you draw the next one. And you create another shape. And you see you can lift them on top or below another shape. Sorry. You can bring it up top like this or below. And when you click away from it, it looks nice and clean. So you can continue to make things shape by shape and really put it together. The text tool that you were using before, if you create a letter with it, right click on it, and instead of rasterizing it, if you go to convert to shape, what that does is it actually makes it into paths. So when you look at it closely like this, everything becomes dots. So you can go over to that direct selection tool, double click on any point now, and you can then customize that particular letter in any way that you would like. You're going to do that for all of these pieces, and at the very end you'll be able to take whatever you'd like this, hold Option, copy, and you can move it over. So once you've done something once, you do not have to redo it or do it again. Okay, and you can just kind of put it together. An example of what this one looked like when he was done, this is what he did with it. nice and clean. And I'm also going to put this inside your folder. It's a truck. And I'll show you in the next video how to design the truck.